And welcome to the return of the Football Smack Talk Show. I am your host, Ryan.
I'm Eric.
Welcome back, everybody. We've been off the airways for, about 2 months, maybe?
Yeah. In fact, it's funny. I looked at my messages. The last time you sent me an invitation to one of these was September 30th. So, 2 months.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we are back. We thought, what a great time to come back then right before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, have the Eagles lost since we went on hiatus?
They have
I don't
not
think
actually. This may be we really might be setting ourselves up
Yeah.
for quite the letdown. But
Yeah, we could end up getting canceled after 1 week.
right. But the great news here is that we are back and we are on the Eagles Pin Pull Network. You obviously, most of you who are familiar with the Eagles Pin Pull recognize me as I'm obviously on Birds of the Round Table, Armchair Scouts, but are not necessarily familiar with Eric. But Eric and I have actually been podcasting in one form or another for over 15 years.
As my beard would suggest, I'm a little old, so
long in the tooth.
I'm a little long in the tooth. We've been doing this a minute, and
yeah,
I'll tell you, I have a blast every time. I'm so excited on this new like I guess it's not really a new journey because we've been doing this show for so long, but this new advent to the journey. I'm excited.
It's a new adventure, and we're certainly glad to be a part of something that I personally think is growing the right way, adding people that are not only smart, knowledgeable, but really, students of the game, fans of the game, and so we're certainly blessed and welcome to be here. So that being said, we're hoping to see the kind of normal YouTube crew that has been blessing the other shows on the network. So we hope certainly you guys are will embrace us as the others. But enough of this fun stuff. First and foremost, let me just also state happy Thanksgiving to everybody. May you gain 10 pounds. May you have to unbuckle that belt, preferably if you're wearing sweatpants.
That's my flame for tomorrow. The sweatpants. That's my go-to.
And watch some, let's be honest, some mediocre football games, as the schedule gods didn't bless us with any favors this year. Now they were like, Thanksgiving, nah, let's not worry about that one this year.
Yeah. I mean, how weird is it? Like, I guess really the most compelling matchup is the 12:30 game, the Lions and the Bears. I mean,
see, I would disagree. I would say the Packers.
It's the night game. Yeah,
I would say it's a late game because, certainly, obviously, we want the Lions to lose, as
right?
Fans, but the Packers are right there behind us, even though we obviously hold the tiebreaker. But they're 7-3-2. They're right there. So.
But I mean, look, as long as we win the division, we don't have to worry about going on the road with them.
You're correct, but still, it's certainly something to think about always. But yeah, you're right. We hope that Chicago can put it together.
Yes,
they seem to. They seem to play really crappy, then come back and then find hilarious ways to lose. So, hopefully they sneak one, being that it's a divisional game.
Yeah, if it weren't for that Washington game being that it was against Washington, I would have laughed hysterically at the ending of the Washington-Chicago game. But especially then knowing that the guy who got beat was the one turned around taunting all the Washington fans. And then he's the one who got beat on that.
They all technically got beat, but yeah. Point being, not a great look for them. But anyway, let's real quick. Let's just talk for a brief moment about the Rams game. I think everybody heading into this game was a little hesitant,
Sure.
the Rams certainly have a great passing attack with Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nakua. They have a decent running back in Kyron Williams. So,
Mm-hmm.
I think people were a little, I wouldn't say afraid, but maybe concerned.
I think that's the right word to use. Yeah.
I mean, a little letdown game type,
Mm-hmm.
for the Ravens. And also you have to look at their defensive line has been getting a lot of news, given their two rookies,
Yeah.
both from Florida State, are absolutely tearing it up, and are to be considered for defensive rookie of the years for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, the first half kind of seems to be going the way that our first halves have been going lately, and or we just,
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, they'd move the ball a little bit, but then tighten up in the red zone, not really get anything in. And yeah, then on defense, I mean, the defense kept us in the game in the first half. They played well,
Sure.
Especially that opening drive. Anybody who knows me knows I can have some what my wife calls Eric Smash moments. The fumble that wasn't called a fumble at first, and then I didn't realize that it wasn't called a fumble, and then they're ready to go out there and run a play. I was freaking the F out.
For those of you who are unfamiliar with Eric, Eric has what you might call an anger problem. And a lot of that is
in particular towards inept officiating.
Well, sure. And Eric has been known to throw things, smash things.
I've never broken a single thing in any of my tirades.
I don't believe that whatsoever.
Swear,
it's physically impossible.
Hand to God.
You know what you did? You broke your grandmother's heart.
I'm sure I did that. That I probably did too, several times.
Yeah, when you this wasn't an Eagles game, but where you proceeded to curse at me very angrily in my face in front of your entire family.
Oh, I thought you were going to refer to when Ryan Howard grounded out to end the series against St. Louis, and and he's down, and everyone's like, "Oh, Eric, he's hurt." I'm like, "They shoot horses."
Well, yeah, there was that one too. But anyway, yes, I can only imagine the tirade you went on there. But luckily, and I've never seen this happen before, where they've run the play and they've stopped the play mid-play. And then
because replay assist times down to say, dude, he challenged that. That flag was out.
Right. Yeah.
But why the hell did he even have to check? Oh my God, that me sitting here right now, my knees are closer to the ground than his were.
Yeah, and you're not a tall man.
No.
So that was pretty. Listen, I never. Anybody who's ever watched any of our iterations of our show know that we do not blame the referees. We can certainly call them out and tell them how terrible they are, and they were. They have been for the last couple of weeks. Honestly, it's been pretty bad.
That one fumble against Jacksonville.
Right. That was the silliest explanation I think I've ever heard in my life of a fumble that wasn't a fumble. So, So unfortunately, it's another thing that we're going to have to overcome. But again, you hope that they're both sides of the ball. If it's going to be bad officiating, I'd rather it be bad for both. So I don't
even out. Yeah, and then we can all adjust to it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So. And speaking of, if I have to see Jalen Carter get double teamed and held every play without a penalty, I might do an Eric Smash moment there. But it's not looking pretty.
He's getting held a lot.
Well, listen, rightfully so. He's one of the best defenders in the league already, and it's funny he'll never truly get the recognition. Because defensive tackles and interior defensive linemen typically don't get the stats that are required to make the flashy news. So,
But it's funny when you see some of the real smart guys, the real smart analysts, when they talk about the Eagles,
Oh,
one of the first names they bring
Jalen
up
Carter.
every week is Jalen Carter. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. He's honestly just the simple fact that he does require a double team every
Right.
time makes Jordan Davis's time a lot easier to
Yep.
be effective as he is in the run game, and Milton Williams as effective as he is
Oh
in
yeah, you
running.
don't see the stats that you get from them without Jalen Carter being double teamed
Right.
almost every play.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, so that first half was, again, little slow starter. Again, things weren't working, but I got to tell you, and this, as you know, Eric, this
Mm-hmm.
has not been the case for many, many, many Eagles seasons. The adjustments at halftime
Yeah.
were beautiful, and they have been the last couple of weeks. And
You
that's
just, I mean, even not just halftime, but just the in-game adjustments
well,
that you
right.
see
Yeah,
from series to series. Just so many great
true.
adjustments.
Yeah, no,
Hats off to the coaching staff.
you're absolutely right. It really is a nice sight to see.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and yeah, honestly, if it wasn't for Vic Fangio and the adjustments he's making and what
Yeah.
he's doing with this defense, I mean, you said it. This defense kept us in that game.
Yep.
The Rams, in the first half
And
had
I
like
could have said that in a number of games that took place during our hiatus. I could have said that during almost any one of them. How
yeah.
this defense kept us in so many games.
Since the bye, it has been the tale of
Mm-hmm.
two different teams, and again, I know a lot of fans are probably waiting for the other shoe to drop, but I don't think it's coming, people. I really
Yeah.
don't.
Look, I mean, we talked about it a lot last year because last year they had a similar record. In fact, I think it was one game better at this point last
Yeah.
year.
Well, yeah.
And the collapse that came, we could kind of see something like I don't think we saw that coming, but like
No,
we
but
thought that this team wasn't quite as good as their record would indicate.
yeah, every game was a
Yeah,
struggle, and
right.
every game was an ugly win, and every game
Mhm.
was like, "Oh, wow, how the hell did we pull that off?" And
Right. And you
and
can
it's
only do that
it's
so
like
many times in a
we're,
season.
we're
Yeah.
right, and every time it's like, man, we really played like shit, but we
Yeah.
somehow won. But that's not what's happening this year.
No.
Since the bye, we have been suffocating with defense. We have, had nice, timely offensive drives. Our Saquon Barkley has certainly been carrying us for.
That man. God
Uh,
bless that
God,
man.
God, I am thankful for him. Let me tell you.
Yes.
Cute,
Yeah, we're
cute.
talking about the season of thanks. I am thankful for Saquon Barkley. I am thankful for the Giants front office for being so inept. Thank you so much, Giants front
Yeah,
office.
I know.
Everybody check on your Giant fan friends.
Or,
Seriously.
or,
They're
or
not
don't,
okay right now.
or don't let them rot.
Or maybe just laugh at them.
Right. Q checking in. The worst case scenario at this point should be about 12-5 and the number 2 seed. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
listen,
cool.
when you look at the rest of the schedule, we're what, 9-2 right now, right?
Right.
The Ravens, great team. They're a little inconsistent, but again, on paper
Like Tech's point, it's worst case scenario. Yeah, they could lose this game on Sunday.
right. So let's just say even let's go down this scenario with him. Yeah,
Mhm.
let's just say we lose this game. The Steelers are another good team. Let's say we
Mhm.
lose that one. We're obviously going to beat the crap out of the Panthers.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, so that's 2 losses. That gives us what, 4, and then let's just say we lose to Washington. That's our
Right.
5th loss. By the
Mhm.
time that happens, we've already locked up the
Yeah,
division,
you're already division champions probably at that point.
right?
Yeah.
And who, it's certainly not going to come out of the West. They can barely get above 500.
Yeah, we'd be
And,
the 2 seed. It would
and
be
the
it would
South,
be Detroit 1, Eagles 2.
yeah, in
Yeah.
the South,
Or really whoever I guess comes out of the North.
right, yeah, the South, it is kind of what it is, but they're kind of the same thing with the West. It's they're a bunch of teams. So yeah, most likely scenario is that 2 seed, and 12 wins. And Eric, I would
Mhm.
love to go back. Um, do you happen to remember what we said? I thought we were in the 11 to 12 win range.
Yeah, I think that's about what we had us at. Yeah.
I'd love to go back to one of our old shows before the season and double check what we had for our record. Because yeah, it was definitely 11. It might have been 12.
I think you were at 11, I was at 12, or maybe it was vice versa.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, we were certainly right there, but and
Yeah.
we're saying this as,
The worst case scenario.
you coming out with the worst case scenario now. So yeah, Baltimore is certainly going to be a fun game.
Sure.
Again, kind of having that Jaden Daniels game prior to the Ravens game is certainly helpful. Certainly not up to Lamar's, stature, but same style as far as being able to just get out of the pocket
Mm-hmm.
and run the ball, and hopefully, they learned a lot from that game, and likewise with Washington, Washington has, or at least I should say had, because I think Eckler's pretty banged up, but
Right.
had a pretty nice 1-2 punch.
Yeah, with Robinson and Eckler.
Yeah, Robinson and Eckler kind of, maybe you put them together, you get yourself a Derrick Henry type, as far as effectiveness. And
you put them next to him, they might be the same size as Derrick Henry. That is a big boy.
It really is. I saw him. A picture of him
with Mark Ingram.
Mark Ingram, yeah, that famous picture.
Yeah,
twice the size of Mark Ingram.
He looks like he ate Mark Ingram.
I know. It's absolutely.
And Mark Ingram's a big dude.
He is a big boy. I wouldn't want to put on the pads and have him coming barreling at me.
I almost wondered if Slay with him, kept going out for injuries last week, was him kind of planting the seeds so he doesn't have to try and get in front of the Henry train this week.
Yeah, right.
That's a veteran move if he did that.
I mean, listen, it certainly is. Now, obviously, Baltimore doesn't have that, world beater wide receiver.
No.
Not even anybody in as far as good as Terry McLaurin. Now Zay Flowers is certainly okay, and Bateman has been all right, and theoretically is a Nelson Aguilar on.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Yes, Nelson Aguilar is on the Ravens. Oh
yeah. Boy. So watch out for that revenge game, right?
Oh yeah. Didn't he have a game against us? Yeah, he was on the Patriots last year, wasn't he?
Was he on the Patriots last year? Was it? Yeah, I know we played Aguilar, but anyway, So I think our D-backs are certainly going to have a better of a day. What I think is more troubling is the Mark Andrews situation, where he's been very, quiet for Mark Andrews this year.
Sure.
And I feel like he's starting to warm up now. He scored last week. He's starting to become a little bit more of a reliable target once again for Lamar. And, listen, we've always been typically terrible against tight ends, but we've also typically had pretty terrible linebackers. Mm-hmm. So I certainly feel better about it going into this game.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, Zach Bond and certainly
Zach Bond's played really well this year.
Yeah, and Nakobe Dean. I mean, Nakobe Dean had probably one of his better games last week. I feel like we have enough to neutralize or at least contain Mark Andrews. It's really going to come down to Lamar and Derrick Henry. And, we do have a very good run defense. But we've also never faced against a big back quite like Derrick Henry.
There's very few backs the size of Derrick Henry. And look, this defense, I'll say this about them, man. They play ticked off. Like, they look like they're constantly, like, they just read their headlines from the preseason where people were bashing them and talking about how terrible they were. They play angry. They play like they've been disrespected.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. So hopefully, that matches up well. I know a lot of people are kind of, looking at this as like, oh, well, we've won.
It's a show me game.
Great. Yeah. And, when's the letdown going to happen?
Sure.
And, we keep playing teams, everybody thought Washington was going to be the game. Hell, everybody thought Dallas was going to be the game, and then then Washington, and then the Rams. Like every week, it seems like everybody's going, well, this is probably going to be the game.
This is a test game. This is a benchmark. This is like, and they keep moving the goalposts. And it's like when we hit that one, it's like, okay, well, the next one, that's the big test. That's
yeah, exactly. So
I mean, if we beat Baltimore, it's going to be. I mean, obviously, they're not going to say that about Carolina, but then it'll be Pittsburgh.
It'll be Pittsburgh. Yeah. No, I don't think.
I don't think Carolina's popping up on that one. I think that's going to be. Well, no, it'll be. Oh, are they going to have a letdown against Carolina?
Yeah, right. Here's the trap game. Here's the trap game. Hey, Carolina beat New York. You never know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen. There's always the Negadelphians that are out there that are going to.
Now, I do understand people preparing themselves for that, and then hoping for the best but prepare for the worst. I get that. I get laying the foundation to where it's like in your mind you're not disappointed if you lose because you already set that expectation. I do understand that. I'm not saying I do that because I don't, but I mean I have before, but
certainly have before. Now, speaking of Carolina, are you going to that game?
Yes, I am.
Oof, I feel bad for you. That's gonna be a crap game. So I'm glad I sold my ticket.
Yeah. I heard Cabrelli's sister is coming.
Yeah. He randomly texted me last week or whatever it was, and I was like, "Oh, thank God!" I so had no desire to go to this game. Sold.
I know. I was ready to. If it weren't for the fact that we didn't go to the last game, we're not going to the Pittsburgh game.
I can't believe you messed up and you sold the Pittsburgh.
Well, the Pittsburgh one, that was his choice. He asked for the Pittsburgh game in exchange for the Jaguar game.
Yeah, I would have been like, is there any other game?
Yeah,
should have fought for that one.
But
I'm just saying. Oh, speaking of the Pittsburgh game, there is an outside shot. I heard a rumor that we could be moving that to a Monday night game.
Oh boy. Well, now I'm really glad I didn't get the Pittsburgh game. I might be getting a phone call from Tim asking me if I want the tickets back.
And you should accept.
If that happens, I think I might.
I'm just saying, just take off. Just take off Tuesday.
It's a little late for that. I'll just have to call off on Tuesday and just consequences be damned. I haven't had what they call an occurrence in 4 years, so I think I'll be okay.
There you go. All right. Well, there you go. That works. But well, either way, this is gonna be a fun game. This is what a 4:25 game.
Baltimore. Yeah, it's a 4:25. Yeah.
Yeah. So what are your plans? Are you doing the normal?
Yeah, I'll be at Lars.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So if unless it's a late game for the old man over there, you're pretty much there.
Yeah.
All right.
Although it's funny, the Sunday night game, the Nicholas, Friday night we were out for Jake's birthday, and
oh nice.
And Nicholas basically talked us into staying and watching the game on Sunday at Laura's, and so we did, and then went to work from her house. And
wait! Say this again. You went out Friday night. What does that have to do with Sunday?
Oh, we stayed the whole weekend.
You stayed the whole weekend?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Because then we did a game night over at Aunt Sandra's on Saturday night. And, of course, drinks ensued. And
no, never with that family.
I know, not us. No. Our poor livers are shot by 35. But
well, appreciate the invite.
It's funny because Brady, Jake's girlfriend, says to me afterwards, "Oh, you should have said something to Ryan." I'm like, "You should have said something to me to say something to Ryan."
She could have reached out.
Right, that's what I said. I'm just like, well, like, why is that? Like, I'm not going to go inviting people to your thing. Like,
right, I assumed she was the one who organized it. Yeah.
I mean, like, I thought about reaching out and be like, hey, should I say something to Ryan? Which I'm sure the response would have been absolutely.
So but you're saying it's your fault?
Indirectly, but I'm still blaming her. She's still new enough to where I can blame her.
All right, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I want to talk about real quick because I know we are a little short on time. Normally, we'll be doing kind of a full hour.
Yeah.
But obviously the holiday and everything. We at least just wanted to come on and just kind of get things started and hope that there are now 9 shows as you can see up in the corner.
Yeah, a plethora.
Yeah, so those are all the official shows that are going on now, including ours, the Football Smack Talk show.
Yes, I see that beautiful emblem up there.
Yeah, we have made it. So anyway,
Tech called out your boy.
Yeah. Well, listen, maybe you can explain
a
little bit more because you've known me longer than anybody. And listen, how about I ask you some questions and you just answer bluntly?
All right.
How do you think or how would you describe my feelings towards backup running backs for the Eagles over the years?
Less than positive. You've had some backup running backs that you have not liked. In particular, one that's now serving about 50 years of jail time in Wendell Smallwood.
I'm not gonna lie, that made me so freaking happy.
I gotta be honest. If I saw the same thing with Macho Harris, I would be absolutely giddy.
I was like, vindication. I mean, it's everybody's. Pumphrey, it's Smallwood.
How are your feelings on Shipley right now?
I like Shipley. I feel like Shipley is in that, and I don't mean by any means that this is the type of player he is, but for me, in the like Darren Sproles, Boston Scott, like third string guy. I kind of like him. Love to see more.
Yeah.
So everybody knows but I did make a bet, and no, don't say anything because I'm pretty sure you could guess, but I said if Gainwell, you didn't like. Ryan, you didn't like Clement or Ajayi. No, I actually like Corey Clement and actually Ajayi. I mean,
look, if they were on the Super Bowl team, they definitely don't.
Yeah, I mean,
you gotta love everybody from that team.
Yeah, I mean, they were again. It was, I mean, Ajayi. I mean, Blunt.
They weren't here long enough to like. And they weren't really backups.
And there wasn't like there wasn't such a clear number one. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, they kind of all shared the load. I was sad to see Clement go, and when Ajayi's. I mean, I have an Ajayi jersey, so don't think that I don't. But so I bet that if Gainwell scores yet another touchdown, I am going to reveal something very special.
Okay.
Live on air on next Birds of the Round Table. So I can't reveal what it is.
Okay.
But
well, now I'm really rooting for a Kenny Gainwell touchdown.
Let's just say it might shock the interwebs.
Oh boy. Oh, now I'm really rooting for a Kenny Gainwell touchdown.
I'm just saying. No, I don't know. I kind of have this idea of like, listen, your number one is your number one.
Mm-hmm.
And I am not necessarily against, spelling a running back for a few plays here and there, but
sure. But key plays, you want your studs in.
Key plays, you want your studs in, and I felt like, maybe not this year, but in years past, I felt like they relied a little bit too much on Gainwell.
Like last year when they tried to, oh my God, that New England game. They started the game after going and getting Swift. They were like, "What? We think Gainwell's like a 1-1A, and we can run with Gainwell." And they ran him into the ground in that first. Like that first series, it was every other play. It's like, dude, we get it. You like Kenny Gainwell. I
Yeah,
don't.
and
Get
he
him
sucks.
out of there.
He can't be the lead guy.
Now you
So
couldn't justify that now with Saquon. Like Saquon's so
well,
clearly the guy.
no. I'm just saying, like, you know, uh, if Gainwell were to be given, first team reps, he's not going to do anything that stands out.
No.
No, and meanwhile, you have plenty of backup running backs in the league that can.
Right.
Okay, listen, Tech. You're on thin ice now with Dak. I can honestly tell you, I own over 90 Eagles jerseys. Guess how many other jerseys that I currently own?
None.
Of NFL teams?
None.
In my life,
players on. Gotcha.
In my life, I have owned 2 other jerseys in my life. And this is when I was young and impressionable. And as anybody knows, I love linebackers. So I got myself a powder blue Sean Merriman.
That's a good pull. I'm sorry, I can't even give you a hard time for that one.
Back when he was wrecking
world. He was the man.
And most people will not know this player. But from Seattle, I got the I didn't get the exactly neon color, but I got like their blue.
The blue, yeah.
Lofa Tatupu was also another great linebacker at the time.
No, I wouldn't even give you a hard time for either one of those. That's pretty awesome.
I couldn't help it. I absolutely love linebackers, and those were 2 of my favorites. But I sadly do not have those jerseys any longer. I think my mom might have sold them on a yard sale or some crap like that. Okay. But yeah, whatever. I digress. But yeah, 90s Eagles jerseys. That's the way it is. That's the way it always will be. And in fact, I really do have to update my list. It's been a little while. My quest to get every jersey from 0 to 99 is
I know I mentioned this before, but we do have a local guy who's going to be opening up a shop.
Yeah, you did say that, yeah.
Yeah, it's coming soon.
Yeah, well, not soon,
today.
Not soon enough.
No, I talked to him today, like a few hours ago. Yeah.
When's ETA on opening?
Oh, it's like very, very soon. Like it's
and does he need somebody special to cut the ribbon? I'll be glad, more than glad.
I know. I told him. I said, look, we will go in and be your first customers. Like,
oh, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
You'll be pleasantly surprised. But anyway, listen, I on all jokes aside, I'm perfectly fine that Gainwell scores. I just again don't want it to be in critical moments. When
those important touchdowns at the end of the game, something to win the game or something. That better be, like a Saquon, Jalen. Like if it's a rushing touchdown, it's got to be one of those 2.
Absolutely. At
the end of the game, with the game on the line, you want the ball in the hands of your best players, and Saquon Barkley is the best player on this offense.
Honestly, and that's saying something when you have somebody like AJ Brown.
Sure, and I had no disrespect at all intended to AJ Brown or Jalen Hurts.
None. But I will say, and I feel like when we were doing, speaking of Jersey, when we were doing our last Pittman Craft Fair.
Yes.
And I do recall going off on quite the tangent on Dallas Goedert.
Yes, you did.
And I feel like outside of one game, Dallas Goedert's been pretty shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, God, what was it? The New Orleans game. Goddard had like 180 yards. And
It was something like that.
Yeah, he went off, and I remember because then I figured I'm like, okay, after all the because basically going into that game, I carried your torch there, and I was talking shit on Dallas Goedert, and Nicholas called me out at the end of the game. He goes, Eric, after that kind of performance, you better bring your Dallas Goedert jersey next week. I did. I wore my Dallas Goedert jersey the next week, and he hasn't shown up since.
Yes, it was New Orleans. He had 10 catches for $170.
That's it. Okay.
Right. He has one touchdown on the year, the Dallas game. Outside of that 170, he has not surpassed 62 yards.
That's ridiculous. And you want to be a starting tight end in this league.
He has 35 catches.
Did you see our boy got hurt, JT Sanders?
I did, yeah. I actually had to start him in fantasy one week, and it was the week he scored a touchdown. So.
Oh, there you go.
JT knew it. Regarding Goddard, there aren't a lot of targets to go around. Yeah, I mean you're not wrong.
You might have a point there. You're
not wrong, but
you got to get yourself open. There's a lot of times I see Jalen holding on to that football, not being able to get rid of it because guys aren't getting open, and that's one of those. You need your safety valve. You need your tight end to find a way to get open so he can hit you at the sticks.
Yeah, well, I mean, considering he's got 42 targets this year for 11.6 average. I don't know. I just feel like he could be doing so much better, and has been, overall. It just seems like. Here, let me look up AJ Brown. So let's say AJ Brown's total stats here, and I know that's just a little unfair, but I want to at least see the targets wise. Targets are 56, so they're not that much higher than. Yeah, not that much higher.
Right, but.
He's got 39 catches for 727 and 4, averaging 18.6. Good Lord. Unbelievable. Wow. Either way. Anyway, that's going to be it for us. We're going to cut the show a little short. But we're usually around,
we usually hover around the hour mark. Yeah.
So we're going to cut it a little bit short. I know, Eric, I know you got some Thanksgiving Day stuff to prep for, as do I. I got to go run out to work. Hosting trivia is not really work, but so anyway.
Also, you're actually going to be hosting trivia the night before Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
It's people. I can only assume it's going to be wild. Live from Jake, of course. Q, thank you very much, buddy.
Thanks, man.
But we're glad to have found ourselves a home on the Eagles PullNetwork with some really great people and people that I considered good Eagles friends. So glad to be here. Glad to bring our show back. I think this is theoretically our, 327th show. Although, again, it's a new network. I didn't want to.
Right. Yeah, you don't want to overwhelm them.
Yeah, right. What happened to the 326 before? Oh. Yeah, but anyway, that's how many shows we've done. 327. So.
Wow. And that's just from this show.
I know. We had another show. We had about 500 episodes, more than 500.
Which I'm so excited when you told me we were moving to Wednesdays because I get to hit you with this, Ryan. Guess what day it is? It's Hump Day.
Oh wow! Never do that again. All right, folks. Well, thank you guys so much. Go Birds! Let's beat up some Ravens in Baltimore. If anybody's going down, have yourselves a absolute blast. Baltimore is such a fun city, I will say that. But let's hopefully we come out with a victory. Once again, happy Thanksgiving. Hope everybody and their families have a wonderful holiday. I hope none of you are working on Friday. And yeah, have yourselves a fantastic holiday weekend. So anything to add before we get on out of here, Eric?
Nah.
All right. Gotta love it. So for the Football Smack Talk show, I am Ryan.
I'm Eric. Happy football, everybody.
All right. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Go Birds.
Go Birds.